It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Brixton Brewery, and this is a can of the Atlantic American Pale Ale coming in at 5.4% ABV in a 330 milliliter can. It's 45 IBU, so it should be a pretty bitter beer, this one. International bittering units, they go from 100 to 0. 0 being no bitterness at all, 100 being the most your palate can taste. So 45 is about bang in the middle. Without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. I'm quite a fan of Brixton beers. I actually watched a bit of TV last night and drank their Reliance Pale Ale. And it was one of those beers, I poured it out, put the television on, sat in the bar with the television on, just watching any old rubbish. I fancy watching a bit of rubbish on the television last night, just to pass an hour by. And it was just nice, it was just easy going, nice. The Pale Ale, the Reliance Pale Ale, I've probably reviewed it by now, probably released the video by now. But I found another can and I was like, oh, there we are, another can of Reliance Pale Ale, let's drink it. And it went down really, really well. So I'm looking forward to this one then. American Pale Ale. Brixton Brewery, I understand they're now owned by Heineken. But again, my feeling is, my view of this whole subject of big breweries buying smaller breweries is, as long as they carry on brewing decent beer, I don't mind. I really don't mind. I used to get a little bit like annoyed by it, but it happened so much about 5, 6, 7 years ago. A lot of the breweries being bought out for millions and millions of pounds that I kind of got used to it. I kind of expected some of these breweries to sell out. And the other thing as well with it is that some of them will, the beer will change. Some of the beer will change. There's no doubt about it. Some of the beer has changed. But you only got to look at breweries like Camden Town, who were bought out way, one of the first breweries in the UK, craft breweries to be bought out. And their beers now are still, I still think their beers are fantastic, Camden Town Brewery. So, back to Brixton Brewery then. And this Atlantic American Pale Ale. Hazy looking beer. One finger white head. Good levels of carbonation. Straw coloured hazy looking beer. Let's get the aroma. Yeah. I mean, really zesty, really nice, spicy, peppery, hoppy, orange peel, fleshy blood orange, a little bit of grapefruit in there. You pick up a little bit of that light malt coming through. It smells pretty decent. Let's get in. Cheers, everybody. Nicely carbonated. Yeah. And some lovely, I'm getting tangerine. Tangerine and spice. A little bit of grapefruit. Touch of passion fruit and mango. It's like, I tell this story quite a lot, but I'm going to tell it again. It's like when I used to stay at my grandfather's house on a Friday night while my parents went out drinking. He used to look after me and my sister. And every Friday, he used to cut a grapefruit in half, put a load of sugar on it, and give half to me and half to my sister. And we used to just devour these grapefruits. We used to pick them up, half a grapefruit, with the sugar on the top, and just literally smash them into our faces and just kind of like chew all the inside of this fruit and sugar. And what you were getting was the sharpness from all that vitamin C, all that fruit, and the sweetness from the sugar, and it was absolutely fantastic. And to be honest with you, I've not done it ever since I was a kid. I'm 42 years of age now, so I'm probably talking 30 years ago we were doing this, and I still remember it fondly. Really nice grapefruits. But this beer always, or these types of citrusy, well-balanced beers always remind me of that grapefruit with the sugar on, because you've got the sweetness to begin with from the malt, and then you've got the citrusiness, the grapefruit flavours, the orange peel, the fleshy blood orange flavours, and the bitterness, just to balance out that sweetness a little bit. Yeah, it always takes me back to kind of fond memories. It's nicely carbonated as well. It's a really nicely balanced beer with that carbonation pushing the beer around the inside of the mouth. It releases more of the flavour on the palate. When it's a little bit kind of hissy and fizzy, as I like to call it, it's just springing the beer around the inside of the mouth and helping to produce more of that flavour on the palate. It's just really, really good beer. Really juicy beer. I wouldn't be surprised in the next... I mean, this is available now in Marks and Spencer's. Pick this up in Marks and Spencer's. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Brixton, and of course their backers, Heineken, really getting this beer in the likes of Morrison's and Tesco's and Asda. Because if they did do that, and they kept the quality, this is the important thing, they kept the quality the same as this could sell by the bucket load. This could sell by the absolute bucket load. If you're a fan of these lovely kind of crafted ales with citrus and grapefruit and pineapple and fleshy blood orange flavours, New World American Pale Ales, then you're going to really like this. And because it's hitting the supermarkets at probably, I don't know, somewhere around £2 a can, it's very, very cheap. I was at a beer festival recently, and I spoke to one of the big beer buyers there, and they said that they don't buy much craft beer anymore, real craft beer, because some of the beers are between £7 and £10 a can. And he said, on my wage, I simply cannot afford that. And I totally get that. I totally understand that. I would feel... In fact, you don't really see me buying these expensive beers on the channel. You always see me buying these beers at a reasonably priced, which do a very, very similar job in that they're tasty and they're hoppy. So why I mentioned that is that you can go and buy a pretty decent hoppy beer in Marks and Spencer's for £2, or you can order it in your local bottle shop for sometimes £10 a can, which that's going to put a lot of frighteners on people, that sort of price, I'm sure it is. In fact, if your beer buyer is saying he's not buying beer at £10 a can, then I don't know, I think we're in slightly troubled waters if the price carries on going up for cans of craft beer. Anyway, rating for this one is rather good. Brixton's famous street market winds down Atlantic Road, brimming with exotic wares, bold aromas and flavours, complete for passing attention. A bit like our Atlantic American Pale Ale. A deluge of aroma hops after the boil and generous dry hopping deliver a juicy tropical flavour. Extra pale malt keeps it crisp and lets the hops rule. It's good. It's really good. Let's rate it. Brixton Atlantic American Pale Ale. So tasty. So tasty, so drinkable for that 5.4% ABV. I could drink 4, 5, 6 cans of that easily on a nice sunny weekend. I hope you liked the video. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.